I'm Bob with Century Tubes and Hoses. Today we're going to discuss tube beading. Tube beading is the process of putting the rolled edge on the end of a tube. This process is used mainly for automotive type applications where a relatively low pressure hose is used. This could be an oil cooler, a fuel line, transmission cooler lines, power steering return lines. The reason we don't just use a tube and slide a hose over it and clamp it is because there's nothing to act as a stop under pressure where that hose may want to blow off. By rolling that bead and then clamping it, the clamp abuts up against the backside of that bead and it cannot blow off. So the way we do it is I have a set of tools here by a company called Graham Tool. The history on these was they were originally built by a company called Parker Appliance in the World War II era. They were a field service tube used for aircraft maintenance. And I believe Graham bought the patent on this tool, and they are very close to the original. In fact, I have some of the original tools, and a lot of the pieces do interchange or look identical. So what we have here is the complete set. It ranges from 1/4 inch up to 1 inch, and then from 1 inch to 6 inch with this device. This is not a part of the original set of tools from Parker Appliance. This is Graham's creation. It looks like a big can opener and is very effective. I use this tool quite a bit for fuel filler necks, making radiator necks where we're making an extension tube to get from the engine block to the radiator like a crossover pipe, and even as much as turbo pipes on the large intake pipes where the hose itself could blow out under boost. So what I'm going to do next is just take this right to the vise and show you how it's done. Okay, so here we are at the workstation. I'm going to have to pardon my mess. This is a working shop. So we're going to take a 5/8 die or a 5/8 piece of tube. This tool works with all different metals. You can use copper, stainless, steel, aluminum. I just have a piece of 5/8 aluminum, so we're going to start with that today. Now, part of doing a good job of this is tube prep. So I have cut mine already with a tubing cutter, and you can take a reaming tool and make sure that you have a very perfectly square edge and that there's no burrs. These tools, I have had my set for 6 years and never had to replace a die in them. And part of that is because we keep the tube very clean, we blow out metal bits, and when we're done, we take air and we blow any metal bits out of the tool itself. So now we have a well-prepped tube. It's flat with a very slight bevel. I always use a little bit of light oil on the tube to allow the dies to rotate freely. Otherwise, you can't get them bound and they can bind up and you just don't get as nice a job. So once again, this is a 5/8 tube. They come with different dies, the tool itself, and for the different sizes, the die just pops out of the tool. And this one does 1/2 inch and 5/8. So we set the tool into the tube or on the tube, make sure it's flat, and we cinch up the knob, and we just start rotating. These dies are soft dies from Graham Tool. They actually came with the kit, and they work very well. They're 6 years old, and they're still going. I use this tool every single day, and I don't know what I'd do without it. So you just rotate the tool, and we slowly add a little pressure with the knob as we rotate. We don't want to force the tool to go faster than it wants to, and we just keep rotating it. And the tube itself is going to take the shape of those dies. You can do, if you're worried about it being too large, you can stop short. Now we're gonna undo the tool, pull it out, and wipe off the excess oil so you can see it a little better. You can see we have a very nice bead. Okay, now that we have our bead rolled, you can see in practice what we would do. This is just a piece of what we call push-on hose. It's just a general duty oil hose. Slides over and you can see it leaves a little bump in there, and we can slide our clamp on. These are fancy O-Tiker type clamps, but you can use a worm drive clamp, or if you have access to crimp shells, you can do that too. We just take our tool, crimp her down, and you have a very professional looking hose that's safe, and you don't have to worry about that hose blowing off. Okay, so we're gonna really show where the limit is on this type process. And here is the large, I call it the can opener, but this one does up to 6-inch tubing. What I have here is a piece of 4-inch thick-walled exhaust tubing. This really taxes the tool. This is the very edge of what the tool is capable of, but I want to show you what we can really do. And we're going to go ahead and put that pipe in there, and we rotate it just like we're opening a can, keeping a little bit of pressure on there. And I keep turning that knob every couple of rotations. As we build up that bead. And I hate to sound like a shill for Graham Tool, but I guess I am, because these tools make me money every day. And even if you're a hobbyist who just likes nice tools and likes to build stuff, they are so worth it. It does get a little tiring, this one, but we got it. The dark edge you'll see is just oil. That has left a nice bead. And say if this was a turbo pipe, you could slide your intake hose over that and clamp it and not worry about it blowing off. So I hope that you found today's demonstration interesting. The purpose was to teach you what tube beading is, the tools that do it, and how it's done. In future videos, I would like to cover more topics regarding tubing. We can talk about flaring or bending. Leave a comment below what you'd like to see. If you like today's video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you in future videos.